Donald Trump isn't just acting like a dictator. He is, in fact, being a dictator right now. And of course, as we all know, he expanded his powers as dictator of the United States this week by deploying federal troops and members of the U.S. military, the National Guard, to patrol the streets of D.C., where they have proceeded to harass citizens committing the crime of sitting on their own front porch. And according to Donald Trump's border czar, Tom Homan, Donald Trump has, quote, no limits on his authority when it comes to keeping this country safe. During a press conference this week, a very small one, impromptu almost, Homan told reporters, quote, D.C. is a dangerous place. I don't go on the streets at night without a gun. You know what? Let me go ahead and stop right there. You see, that's what actually makes the streets of D.C. unsafe. The fact that paranoid people like Homan and these other Republicans who are like, I'm afraid of big cities. Bunch of crybaby pussies, if you ask me. But people like Homan who are paranoid of everybody walking down the street having a gun, that is what makes the streets of D.C. not safe. Because I don't trust this SOB for a second. But he continues. And you know, it's dangerous. I mean, we see the crime in D.C. and you've got the Democrats saying the crime isn't that bad. Come on. You walk through the streets of D.C. It's not safe to walk the streets at night here. Our capital should be a showpiece. And President Trump, he's going to make sure it's not only safe, it's a showpiece for the whole world. And that's the right thing to do for the greatest nation on earth. President Trump doesn't have a limitation on his authority to make this country safe again. There's no limitation on that. Really? Because according to Donald Trump during his own first administration and then the 4 years that followed, he actually does have limitations on that. Because we were told following the Capitol riot for years and years and years from Trump himself that as president, he doesn't have the authority to deploy the National Guard. Only Nancy Pelosi has that authority. But here we are this week where he deployed the National Guard in Washington, D.C. Something he had told us for years and years he couldn't even do as president. So which is it, Homan? He has no limit to his authority, or he is limited because that's what he said in the past? Well, the answer is technically neither of those things. There are, in fact, limits on Donald Trump's authority. There are limits on how long he can deploy these National Guard troops. And there are limits as to what the President of the United States can do with sending federal agents to patrol our streets. As per usual, in order to even do this, Donald Trump invoked an emergency, using emergency powers when an emergency didn't exist. We have seen in the past when he has attempted to do this, the courts have in fact struck it down, saying that there's no real emergency and you're lying your face off. So there are limitations. The problem is, not that there are no limitations, because there are. The problem is Trump has people like Tom Homan telling him he has no limitations. Homan, like so many others in this administration, is an enabler for this authoritarian regime that is taking shape in the United States. The problem Homan has, however, is that he's obviously a real dumb guy because he doesn't know a thing about history. When you look back at all of the authoritarian regimes throughout history, how did it end for everybody, right? Did it end well? Are they happy and thriving and just doing kick-ass today? Or are 99% of them relegated to the history books, something that smart people, not like Tom Homan, study so that they don't repeat it? And by the way, Homan, what happens to people like you? You're not the one in charge. That's why you're happy to do it, though, so you remain on the good graces of the guy in charge, the actual authoritarian leader. You're just one of his enablers out there enforcing his policies. What happens when you no longer are useful? Or what happens when you accidentally have an independent thought that you say out loud that pisses Trump off? Well, look to Stalin. Tom Homan, you're going to be one of those people that just suddenly gets erased from photographs. And then we see the new picture and it's just more landscape and where you used to be. That's who you are. That's what will happen to you as history goes on. You'll be one of those people that are erased, either through independent thinking or no longer being useful. So laugh it up right now. Support the authoritarian regime right now, because eventually nobody's ever going to see or hear from you again the second Donald Trump doesn't need you or want you by his side anymore. History has proven that time and time again, and your fate, your history will be no different. Thanks for watching, everybody. And if you're not already, please subscribe to the channel. We got fresh content every day for you. And if you want to follow us across social media, make sure you check out all of the social links that we have posted in the description of this video.